Hello, everyone. This is Nyambia Preely Ingram, creator of Dating Woes Story Time. So, episode 2 is going to be probably like a 2-parter. I might be able to cram this scenario into 2 parts. Might be 3, depending on how much time I want to spend on the topic. But I had to do this one second because this is also a recent one that is just so crazy. I've actually created material off of it for comedy. Like, it's just, this one right here was a kicker. But without further ado, I'm going to get started on it. So this one I'm going to call Gerald. A lot of my friends know this story, and I've told it many times to strangers, and everyone has definitely laughed over it. Excuse me. Well, sorry. Okay, let's get started. So, Gerald. So I frequent on dating sites. I have cousins that have gotten married from DMs and Tinder and things like that. So, I was like, well, let me see. Maybe I might be able to find somebody on these dating places. So I created a couple profiles, and one that I had been on before and had a boyfriend off of before was Tinder. So back in June of last year, I was, thinking about getting back into the dating world. So I was like, hey, let me see what this is all about. So I logged back in my profile. Like, I never deleted it, so I just went back in and downloaded the app again. So when I log in, I see that I had a whole bunch of messages from people, and I had messages from this one guy named Gerald. And I'm like, oh, he had messaged me like a year before, and I guess I never really paid attention to him. And our last message he sent was like, hey, I wish that we could have exchanged numbers. And I'm just like, let me see what this guy's about. So I went to his profile. He looked like he was at work. He had a lot of cute pictures. And I'm like, oh, he's cute, Let me say hi back to him and see what's going on. So I respond back and say hi. We exchanged numbers, and we began to talk. He seemed like he had a pretty cool, head on his shoulder. He explained to me his job. He said he was a QA engineer. So I was like, okay, quality assurance engineering. I'm like, all right, my dad's an engineer. My sister's an engineer. I have a lot of engineers in my family. I was like, that's a great job to have. I know it provides great income. You need to be college educated for it. So I was like, okay, great. 2 pluses right there. I asked him what school he went to. He said he went to USC. And I was like, okay, great school. I know it costs a lot of money to go there. So I was like, all right, went to a nice little Ivy League type school. I'm like, all right, cool. That's number 2. And then he told me he worked at an app company out in Playa Vista out here in California. And I'm like, okay, nice job working in a nice place. I'm like, all right, cool things. And he said he had no kids. He said he wasn't married. He said he stayed over in Koreatown, which is actually where I stayed. I was like, okay, great. There's a lot of pluses here. So he was like, hey, let's hang out. So I was like, yeah, maybe one day we'll do that. So we talked for a couple weeks, on and off, had a lot of conversations, but mainly through text message. There wasn't a lot on the phone because he was at work most of the time. And when he got off work, I was also doing school and stuff at the time too. So we kind of really couldn't find any time to meet with each other. And then we finally ended up meeting up. We had a good time when we kicked it. Found out he loved roller coasters. So we would go to Six Flags all the time. Found out that he loved movies. So we'll go to the movies all the time. We'll hang out. So he liked sushi. He liked restaurants. So I was like, hey, this is the winner here. I was thinking. So then I started noticing a few things. So, with text conversations, how people, might misspell words just from texting too fast. You can overlook a few things. But when you blatantly start typing certain things, I overlooked a few things because I'm just like, maybe it's just, a typo. He's at work. Maybe he's doing voice text or something. I don't know. Because, just an example. So, I knew that about you, or I knew something. If you know something, use a KNEW or KNOW kind of situation. And he would always say NEW or NOW. So I'm just like, okay, I'm not thinking anything of it. Some people kind of, mess that up a little bit. And, people mess up them, there, a lot of those. type of situation. Sorry for your loss. You know, people put lost, LOST, instead of LOSS. So, you know, I've seen that before. You know, my minor in college was in English, so, you know, it kind of irks me a little bit, but I overlook it because it's not the end all of everybody. So fast forward to the first kind of situation where my cousin came out here. We hung out. We went to Good Burger pop-up, which was amazing. Had a good time there. And then he dropped us off to get a rental car because we were going to Vegas the next day. And then after that, we kind of like fell off a little bit. So I wasn't really trying to talk to him that much anymore because I really wanted to focus more on my work and my career and everything else. So I started noticing a few things that wasn't really kicking to me. The first thing was when he told me he went to USC. So I have a friend that went to USC and graduated and everything. And when they first encountered each other on the phone, he was like, hey, what's going on? You know, he was like, I want to, you know, definitely wanted to meet you. And he was like, hold on one second. So, you know, USC's chant, I would say, I guess, you know, their school chant is fight on. So, you know, I'm from Alabama, so, you know, they say roll tide, or if you know, war eagle. I go to TSU, so maybe we'll like TTT, SSSU, you know, we have a lot of different ones that we say as well. So when he said that to him, he said, oh, okay, and that was it. So the first day my homeboy was that he ain't go to USC. And I was just like, all right, this is interesting. Okay. So I started doing more digging because at this point I'm like, okay, this guy didn't go to USC, I don't think. So I do further research, and then I start asking him more questions. And I was like, what did you major in at USC? So he proceeds to tell me, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh right now. So he tells me he majored in computers. And I was like, okay, so we're talking about computer science here, computer engineering, computer information systems, because, you know, it's a lot of different computer programs. You know, at one point in time, I was a computer engineering major and a computer science major. So I know it's a lot of different type of computers. So he was like, no, computers. So, you know, at this point, I tried to hold it in, but I had to laugh and I had to call my friend because I was just like, this dude said he just majored in computers. And I was just like, I'm like, all right, computers. Okay. I don't know where to go with this right here, but all right. So then at this point, he said he majored in computers. So I'm like, so what is your job again? And he was like, I'm a QA engineer. And I'm like, okay, quality assurance engineering. I'm like, okay. All right, so I do more further digging. So I go to LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn, it says he's a facilities coordinator. And I'm just like, so what is a facilities coordinator? Because I'm just trying to figure this out at this point. So I'm trying to Google some stuff, you know, facilities coordinating. So I Google it, and it comes up as janitor. So I was like, what? I was like, so he went to USC, majored in computers, and he's a janitor of this app company? I'm like, okay. So he's completely lied about his career, completely lied about his job title and his college education at this point. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, this guy is not telling me the truth here. You know, so what else am I gonna do in this situation? So yeah, that's just one scenario there. So stay tuned to part 2 because it gets juicier when I learn a few more things about this gentleman, Gerald. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Dating Woes or Naomi the Great. Go to my website, naomithegreat.com, and check out She Is Productions as well. Thank you. Tune in to next episode. Peace.